Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 26th, Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I am Speculators at and you are watching live day trading with me, trading live, specializing in order flow and treasury markets. Let's just get right into it. I'm feeling pretty good today. I was a little off yesterday, but I'm feeling pretty good today. The E-mini had a really strong run yesterday. This pretty good opening move and push higher. Then overnight, this big old spike up there. And then we have since come back. In the treasuries, a little bit of a similar thing. We returned back to value yesterday. This big monster at 18.5 finally got filled. That was where we took a trade yesterday, and on the expectation that he was going to get filled, and then they toyed with him all day. Then again here, this little brief spike here down, and then up. Kind of interesting action. Just looking at the markets here before we open, we got about 2-3 minutes before we open. Fairly constrained so far, but they did tick higher. So, and by the way, we are higher than we were yesterday. So that's what we got for the markets. I think I'm ready for the day. If you're ready to trade, go ahead, hit that like button, and thank you guys for watching. Let's turn on the robot here. Now I've got it. Let's check out CNBC, because we got, okay, Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan says the fourth quarter economy is quote unquote weak. China's top trade negotiator Liu He talks to Lighthizer Mnuchin about resolving quote-unquote core issues. Well, that is much, much more, what is the word? Encouraging than the headlines that I got yesterday that they were trying to get us to buy on. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, yeah, we got everything going here. Hold on a second. Cool. And good morning, Lucas. How are you? We've got a couple of other headlines here. Powell says the Fed is strongly committed to 2% inflation goal. Oh, you know what that means. That means they gonna buy this shit. That's what I think that means. You feeling good?
Lucas says feeling good.
You know what? I think I was maybe a little bit sick yesterday because, well, actually, I might still have it a little bit. This is the sound that you want, right? It was like I had like this, like after streaming, like getting into the mid-afternoon, I had this like huge lump of gunk, and it is just sitting in my throat, and it feels like there's like this huge ball constantly going down your throat. You ever get that feeling? It's the worst feeling. Okay. They tried to uptick. It's fighting them at 21. It sure does look positive. I think I should come in here and reset a few things. And they're still having trouble there, huh? So they're getting quite a bit of fight at 21 in the treasuries. Pete, if there's any, you're looking for ideas for Jigsaw, there's an idea for you. Oh, hey, you know what? We should try something. I talked to the TT guys yesterday. They sent me an email. You know how you set up a demo and then the sales guy, he comes for you? Well, that happened to me yesterday. And he told me that there's a setting I got to change. Let's see if it works. Let's see, what was the setting?
Lucas says after all the buy orders we saw yesterday, we are not that much higher.
Yeah, although, I think that they were just really reluctant to fill that big guy. You know what I mean? Okay, file. Ooh, where was it? Change environment. Simulation. Oh. Oh. Do you see? You see what we got going on here? Let's see if it actually works. Change instrument. Where are ya? ZN. Okay, now they busted 21 and they're hitting into 21.5. Come on, why did it not change the instrument? Oh, because I didn't select a expiration, huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, they want me to just hit into 22? Well, that's not working. We'll have to mess with it a little bit later because the market's moving here. Well, that one did not work. We're going to have to let it go, come back. Why are they moving? China deal remains very close after call yesterday between top jeopardies, says Forex Live. China has recently been pressing for the U.S. side to attend talks
Lucas
with
says
Thanksgiving.
someone knows numbers are bad.
With Thanksgiving an approximate deadline. My morning trade colleagues, Chinese officials briefing foreign visitors in Beijing last Friday were positive about the trajectory of talks, but said the scope and scale of U.S. tariff de-escalation is still an open question, according to one person familiar with those discussions. The phone call among top officials likely means that Lighthizer and Mnuchin will not travel to Beijing this week for another round of talks, two people said. Trump's tough talk on China wanting a deal more than the U.S. conceal a desire to get a market-calming agreement, and he is being pushed by Mnuchin and senior advisor Jared Kushner to do so. So why are they buying? Somebody knows that the numbers are bad, says Lucas. Let's see here. What are we looking for numbers here? Because I did not go over that, did I? Probably should have done that first thing. Okay, so we're looking for goods trades balance and preliminary wholesale inventories. A good trades balance, we're looking for a reading of negative 71.3 billion, and for preliminary wholesale inventories, we're looking for a reading of spot 2%. Well, I'm glad
Lucas
that I
says
did not
10 a.m. are more important.
That I did not fall in on that one. Yeah, the 10 a.m. number. Well, so we got HPI at 7 at the top of the hour. And then at 10, we got CB Consumer Confidence looking for a reading of 126.9. Richmond Manufacturing Index looking for a reading of 6. New home sales looking for a reading of 708,000. And FOMC member Baynard speaks. I'm glad that when I saw that and I was like, oh, I want in on this, but I kind of thought this looks like a crescendo kind of an event. I wanted to be in and out. I'm glad that I didn't, just click into 23. It was tempting. Well, they are still taking 22 half bid. I don't know. They might come back a little bit. That showing some overextension, but they want to buy this.
Lucas says I think this VP favored longs here. I could easily see myself buying at 190, which is YH. Lucas says alas.
Alas, yeah. If we had bought right when we started here, would have been an okay buy, but it takes me a swing for me to get acquainted. That's one of the things that I've been noticing the past little while is that the best trade is often like the first swing, and I don't have enough information to really know what I want to do at that point. It's kind of interesting how that's been turning out. Because when I watched my video on replay yesterday, and I'm like, and I come in and I'm like, okay, well, they just sold it here, and now there's quite a bit going into this price, and I'm sitting there watching it on replay, and I'm like, you moron, buy it. Buy it. What are you doing? You're just standing there. Buy it. Couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. I still, I don't know. Conway, some sticking points remain in phase 1 of China talks. So I think what's going on here is the administration.
Lucas says it's so funny watching replays. Sometimes you are like, what an idiot, but sometimes you surprise yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't this happen to ya?
Oh, yeah. There's so many times. Well, usually when I surprise myself, I usually know right away, right? Like how many times I go in and I'm like, that one doesn't seem right. And then I end up being correct. I'm telling you, it's like rock, paper, scissors, man. They have a certain bag of tricks in their bag, and sometimes they will use a trick without the intention of actually moving it, and they'll do it in particular spots. Well, this kind of sets up an interesting situation in my perspective, because as of late, what we've been doing...
Michael XC says earlier this week, you said there was news later this week. What news did you mean?
Well, okay, so for today, we have consumer confidence numbers. We got a couple of those today, and then tomorrow there's GDP. So there's a couple of important numbers. Oh, isn't there also a CPI number or something like that? Let me look. Oh, yes. Personal spending, personal income, all tomorrow at 10. So big numbers tomorrow at 10. And then, of course, next week it'll be the first of the month. And so then we'll probably get, let's see. What do we get?
Michael XC says GDP. Got it.
ISM.
Michael XC says, isn't that stuff usually on Fridays?
Yeah, but it's a weekend. We got a big holiday this weekend, right? Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then Black Friday on Friday. And then next Friday is non-farms. Anyways, as of late, I've been kind of waiting for it to come back and then buying to either catch the small swing or to just catch it going.
Lucas
now
says,
I'm
are
thinking,
you streaming, Seth?
Are you streaming? On Friday? I don't know. It's a good question. I usually don't. Because there's usually I'll usually like go and wait in line for something to get free gift cards or something like that. I haven't found anywhere this year yet, so I might just be, who knows what, but we usually do go shopping that day. So I don't know if I'll stream that day or not. We'll see. We'll make a decision tomorrow. Anyways, right now we're trending up, right? But I think that there's a severe risk of a bad trade or a good trade headline coming out and pushing the treasuries down. Makes sense. But I think that these guys, they need to buy the treasuries. I think that the fundamentals, the dealers and all these guys, they seem to need to buy it. How many buys was in that? 21,000 that's a pretty good. 21,000, and it was a 6% buy in Delta, which is not a ton, but and now since then they're still buying. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm not a huge fan of buying in the 22.5, 23 area. If they decide to continue up, then I'm going to regret saying that, but where could they move up to? Where do we see up above us? Well, there's a huge mess up above us, but I could see 28. Oh, and look, there's some big orders up there. What about below us? There's a few. There's a few. Both sides discussed resolving court issues of common concern and reached consensus on how to resolve related problems and agreed to stay in contact over remaining issues for Phase 1 agreement. I don't know. This sounds to me like the administration all of a sudden is the one that wants it.
Michael XC says in Jigsaw, what are the columns called that show the market orders?
They are called
Lucas
current
says
trades.
If this turns into a new distribution area, we might find some good risk-reward trades.
You think that maybe we could go short here? Because that tick sure seems to suggest that we could. I want to, I zoomed the camera out a little bit, and I'm looking at it, and I like it right there. I like it right there at 35 millimeters. What do we got here? I think that's good. I think we'll leave it there. I think it probably could be a little bit brighter, but yeah. See, my whites are not quite bright white. I guess we could mess with it. Let's try messing with it. Filters. Let's add a filter to it.
Lucas says I'd rather wait to say if it forms another distribution area or if it falls into its range. That will set the tone for the session, I think.
They sure do seem to be the sellers seem to be overwhelming them now. Certainly on price at least. Okay. Can do color correction here. Let's see here. So the gamma, I think, could be a little bit brighter. It doesn't need to be a lot. There. How about that? My shirt is white. Well, things fade in the wash. Things fade in the wash. So I guess it shouldn't be straight white, but it should be close. It should be close to white. I wish I had. OBS doesn't have real color correction. Well.
Lucas says you should have a store.
I should have a store. I'm working on it, Lucas. Actually.
Lucas says Speculator Seth t-shirts.
So I've kind of been working on it, and I've been throwing out different brand ideas to you guys to see what you think about them. And you nobody's quite picked up on them or said anything about them. So I'm like, okay, we'll just see. So the two ideas that I've had are quote cult and no chart gang. Those are the, because I think it would be weird to walk around town with a Speculator Seth t-shirt on, right? That I personally would not I personally would not want to wear that, right? But I might go to, a trader conference or something like that with the shirt that says quote cult. Big, a big octagon on it, multiple octagons inside of each other. And a nice, what is the word?
Lucas
font.
says a ladder.
A ladder. There you go. Something that says, hey, we trade based on order flow, essentially. Oh, you know what? I'm looking back there. I'm like, it's the lighting doesn't look as good, and now I'm realizing it's because it fell. Do you see? It fell. It fell. Look at this. That looks much better. Much better. Yeah. That nice little blue. Did I show you? Look, I can change the colors. Like, it doesn't really look as good. I think that the blue looks the best. There's a little bit of a lighter blue. More of a greenish teal blue. But then I can do like red. Come on. Red. I think to do red, I would have to turn the other lights off. And maybe need to get like some lights over here. So I keep it. Oh, purple looks okay too. Purple looks really vibrant. This remote, you have to like point it like literally right at it. But I like the blue. I think that the blue looks best. But yeah, somebody said no chart gang on one of the comments, and I kind of liked that one too. Because everybody's always like bear gang, and that sort of a thing. It seems to me that bear gang hasn't been doing so hot lately. Well, yeah, I do like that. I go to the scenes. Here it is without the filter. I am centered. I do appear to be centered. Maybe a little bit over here, but maybe my. Oh, I am. There we go. Now it's like the chair has to be in the exact spot. See how finicky I get about this stuff? It's so retarded. I'm so retarded. Like, nobody cares, you're in the center. But to me, it's like a big deal. You're right. Good risk reward
IQM
down.
says big NR at 00711ZB.
711. What is 711? I don't understand that. But there is this one right here. That must be what you meant at
Lucas
00.
says we need Uzi's levels.
Yeah, well, so here we had the here was the opening range right here from 04 to 09.
Lucas says his levels are so reliable, man.
Yeah, they are. Well, the ones that, like, the thing is I think his way of
Uzi
determining where he
Knesset
goes.
says, I am here, sorry. I got caught up at the store this morning.
Where he decides,
Lucas says,
to get
oh, hi,
in.
Uzi, lol.
is really great. But then when we actually got one going, and the price levels that he puts down as targets are like, yeah, they almost always get it. Same with John. And then I think that they tend to be similar, close spots, but I think the Uzi drives it differently. Speaking of which, do I have anything in email? Oh, we could also mess with this. Why is this not working? Change instrument. ZN December.
Uzi Knesset says friggin' power went out at the store and they were only accepting cash for like 20 minutes and well, I only had my debit card. I committed to the task and waited lol.
So let's move this over here. And see. It's close, right? They're close. Reset this. How do you reset this one? How do you reset it? Okay, double click on it. 109. Now that's interesting. This one I get a OLTQ because I'm in. Because it put an order in? Is that what happened? Boy. Active orders. Well, I don't know what that means. They've only been accepting cash for 20 minutes. That is awful. I committed to the task and waited. I know what that's like. You ever seen that GIF with the bear? Wait. I'll find it. Maybe it's a YouTube video. Stay in queue. Here's the bear. He gets in line. And he's like, oh, this other line, it's going faster. Maybe I should get in that line. Okay, I'm going to go and get in that line. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people, oh, well, okay, maybe I should have just stayed to what I was committed to. Nope, actually that line is faster. I'm going to go over to that line. Oh, yeah, now it's that. Okay. Make a decision, buddy.
Uzi Knesset says lol, oh, I never do that shit, haha.
You never, because you're a trader, right? Oh, so now he tries to get in and there's more people getting in line. Now he's got it. Aha, see, look, I picked the right side. There are more people in line on that side. Wait, how come? Oh, great. This guy, he just, okay, so I should, that guy skips to the front of the other line. Can I skip to the front of the line? No, what? Fine. Oh, the guy comes back. Oh, man. Okay. Is now the other person going to take a break? Hey, what's taking so long? What, now they all take a break? What the? Stupid bear. Listen, traders. Don't be this bear. Don't be a bear in general, but don't be that bear. So I don't know what this column means. What does this column mean? Is that the one that's supposed to be the current price? Yeah, it is. And that's what's currently trading. They look pretty in line though, don't they? I can't focus on both of them at the same time to determine. It actually looks like the TT is a little faster. We can watch it on replay. We can watch it on replay and determine which one's going faster, go frame by frame and determine which one is getting the data first. Is there settings for this? Can I change the size of it? Show side. RFQ zoom? No. Edit custom action buttons. Settings.
Uzi Knesset says upside targets in ZB are a bit out of range for an average day. 61, 09 and 13. Never say never and all that lol.
Well, I see a big order at 09 and I see a big order at 16. And I don't see any really big orders on the downside until you get to 16 on the other side. But there's two of them down there. So that's kind of weird. That's kind of interesting. I think that they want to buy it still.
RCH says morning.
Good morning, R. Wrong. Yeah, I tell you what, TT looks really slick, but I'm having a hard time finding the settings.
RZH says bookmap shows what you need, Seth.
Yeah. Are you referring to the columns that they have that show you how many quote changes they have? Because that's what I'm told. I'm told that they show you how many, the number of quotes at each price, and I would sure love to see that in Jigsaw. Are you listening, Pete? Are you listening to me?
RZH says heat map.
Well, I mean, we got a heat map. I don't know. The thing is Bookmap has that really interesting way of determining when the chart progresses, so that like it'll go slower when there's not a lot of orders, and it'll go faster when there is. And I don't know how it figures it out, but it certainly looks cooler, right? Bookmap certainly looks cooler, but I don't think that the way that they do their Bookmap is really all that useful for treasuries. But seeing the quote changes is significant. And that's the thing that I'm kind of more interested in, is like, it seems to me...
says bookmap looks a lot cooler, lol.
Yeah, it does. It seems to me that...
RZH says it even shows how long the order stays there.
Oh, that's cool. Just using this to determine, what has changed in the book, this vista, is not very good, because you can kind of see the colors change, but it's hard to associate it to specific numbers. And since it's not consistent about which numbers it would actually change to, I don't find it very useful. If I could set it up to say, hey, if there's more than 4,000 at a price, then I want it to be white, and I could set it for a specific quantity, I think it would be a different deal. And I would really like to see something that highlights them by how many orders are stacking and pulling in that spot. Because, did I make a study for it?
RZH says you can see the spoofing and everything else, imbalances, etc.
Maybe I haven't. Maybe I should make a new study to see where are the most changes happening at. I bet you would see that there are more changes at whatever is 2 and 4 ticks away, based on, short-term traders taking... Okay. That was an aggressive hit in the 5-year. $500 lots sold there. Another interesting thing I'm noticing about the camera, I changed the frame rate so that it's like a 24, 20. It's like cinema 24 frames per second, I think. And it does kind of look cinematic, but it also kind of, there's some interpolation
RZH
to the
says you
30
can't always
frames.
look for numbers at the chart. Things happen fast.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I don't know if a Vista chart for treasuries would ever be as useful as the DOM. But I would be nice to see the number of changes at each price as a column in the DOM too, instead of having for me to look down here to do it.
Michael XC says turn on the Dolby Atmos.
Turn on the Dolby Atmos. Well, looks like I missed that boat. Once again, if it goes, I probably can't jump on. Because there's too much of a chance of me buying 23 and then it ticking back down. Oh, there's the 5-year took it at 26 and a quarter. The 10-year seems unconvinced. What was that one? Was a bid at 21. Oh, that's interesting.
Ask Our Money Machine says you still think old school DOM trading still works?
Well, yes, I do. I think that it works a lot better than a lot of other things that people are doing out there, at least. There are certainly some situations where it's not very effective, but there are some situations when the market is moving. Man, it works so well, doesn't it, guys? Well, I don't know if I want it anymore if they come back down here. Well, they're iceberging at 22 and a quarter.
Uzi Knesset says risk management is the only real thing that works, lol.
Works, quote unquote. Well, I think it's a little more nuanced than that. Like, I think that risk management is the most necessary component. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have risk management, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're gonna fail. But risk management on its own might not necessarily get you there. You know, because you might just not hit a good enough win percentage based on the risk parameters that you're taking. So you still have to have a viable strategy, right?
Uzi Knesset says trade from a DOM, a chart, a market watch window, or a piece of paper ain't gonna have much impact on the outcome of a trade.
I think to me, I think that maybe it would help the trading community if we tried to separate what your actual strategy was from the tool that you're using. You know, I'm looking for indications that they've overextended in the level 2. That's what I'm doing. And, some people are looking for trending price action, So some people, that's when they say, I'm just watching it, how it ticks and the price, This is totally different
Lucas
from what I
says
do.
bought at 22. They made me work hard for that one tick. I am out, but I think they will probably lift 23.
Man, so you already had a limit order before I decided to try? You might be right about lifting 23, but I'd be really surprised they just
Ace Trade says morning.
up and buy through it without any trouble.
Lucas says I got filled as they sold 22. Lucas says morning Ace.
Yeah. See, when I tried to buy it, that was probably you getting filled. Look at this. Let's see. But from a risk reward perspective, I don't think 22.5 makes
Ace Trade
sense to
says
me.
at Lucas morning.
For me. What's the reason behind the relentless
Ace Trade
market
says
melt
looking
up?
at a long signal at 3,133.75.
Dealers choking on gamma as melt up becomes a reason
Mason
for
Chan
melt
says
up.
hey I am new here and also got in 22.
Hey,
Lucas
good job,
says it's a
Mason.
setup where usually if 22 holds you should already have at least 2 ticks out of it, considering time of the day. Only one so got out lol.
Yeah, I don't know. So we've been getting okay moves in the beginning of the 7 o'clock hour lately, haven't we? I mean, we got an okay. That was when it moved yesterday, wasn't it? No, I take that back. It moved before that. Kind of went dead after that, didn't it? 6:37, 7:30.
Lucas says but maybe as it's Thanksgiving week I should have been more patient.
Oh no, it did move. It did move in the 7 o'clock hour. Nah, I don't know. I think that because we've got consumer confidence coming, that could limit the market movement until that news comes out. But being able to see that was the edge at 22 was a good call. I didn't necessarily see it. You know, I was sitting here waiting for a signal of overextension. Now that I'm seeing it, it's like, okay, there's definitely a range here. 22 is kind of the lower end of the range, and 23 is the higher end. So if I want to buy, I can get it there. And it looks very clearly
Uzi Knesset says hey so
up.
if you want an idea of how serious Bloomberg is about his campaign, Google Donald Trump and an ad for Bloomberg's campaign site as the first result lol. Ask Our Money Machine says Uzi Knesset risk management is the only real thing that works. Lol, you can say whatever you want to say until you don't have results.
Well, let me tell you what Ask Our Uzi definitely has results. Oh my gosh, you are right, Uzi. First result might Bloomberg.com. I don't think he's going to pick up any traction, though. You know what? Money in politics is a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing. People overestimate it at the top level. At a local level, like if it was like a local race, like for governor, and one guy had a lot of money and the other guy doesn't, the guy with money is going to win every time.
Uzi Knesset says at Ask Our Money Machine lol, okay.
Every time the guy with money is going to win. But at a national level, doesn't matter. Donald Trump did not have more money last time around, right? He was more effective, though. He was better at getting his message out. But when it's at the national level, most people know about you. Or by the time the election comes, most people know about you. So it's everybody knows about Michael Bloomberg. The problem is that nobody likes Michael Bloomberg. Not even people in New York that vote for him like him. But no, I think Uzi's right. You're unlikely to have success if you can't manage your risk. I've seen some people that they have pretty good strategies and they are managing their risk really well, and they just don't even realize it.
RCH says why?
But if you can't manage the risk, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up taking trades that where your strategy says that it's an okay buy, but you're giving yourself way too much risk to give it, and then the expectancy doesn't hold up. Well, I tell you what.
Uzi Knesset says I'm saying that the medium you use to trade has little to no impact on whether or not a trade will work out.
Yeah.
Lucas says your entries might be golden, but yay, if you have poor trade management you will get squeezed.
Exactly. I mean, like...
RZH says why they don't like him.
Oh, why do they not like Michael Bloomberg? So, Michael Bloomberg, we call him Nanny Bloomberg. So, it was like Rudy Giuliani was mayor in New York for a really, really long time. And he really cleaned up the city. So then Michael Bloomberg came in, and I think that he kind of continued a little bit of it, because Giuliani was really tough. That was like stop and frisk. And I mean, he did a lot of things that are kind of almost questionable from a civil rights perspective. Okay. Like from a legal rights perspective. Okay. But they worked. But then Bloomberg came in and he kind of was a bit of the same, but he was like, oh, you can't eat trans fats. That's bad. Naughty, naughty. It was like it turned into like trying to control every tiny little part of your life. Yeah, they took it. I mean, I could have bought 22.5, but that's where it's like the risk management thing. If I buy 22.5, what am I actually risking? Probably 4 ticks in the long run. For how much? I don't really know. Maybe I would be getting 23.5.
Lucas says, is that a liberal attitude though? Lol.
Well, it's kind of a weird thing, Lucas, right? Because liberals used to be the ones that were, really strong about your legal rights. Like when Rudy Giuliani did the stop and frisk thing in New York, it was liberal people that were most upset about it, right? All through the Bush years, they were all talking about how Bush is trampling upon our rights, privacy, a right to privacy, and they're spying on us, and all of these things, and the Patriot Act. They really didn't like the Patriot Act. And then Obama became president, and Obama continued most of those policies, and they didn't care. And they actually expanded a lot of those things. And meanwhile, liberals used that environment to force people to do things that they cared more about. Like, forcing you to be more responsible for the environment, forcing you to be more healthy.
Michael XC says at least you can have your big gulp colas.
And it's not a random thing. These are usually related to their policy objectives, right? So, for instance, with health, the reason that it's important for them to prevent you from eating trans fats, from eating fried food, is because that increases the cost of insurance. And if you're going to have a national insurance system, then the only thing that you can really do to reduce the cost of things is to force people to be more healthy. Make sense? So Bloomberg was the first one that...
Lucas says at Mason Chan you still long?
From what I've seen, at least, that was really like...
Uzi Knesset says the idea of sacrificing choice for government authority absolutely baffles me.
Yeah, exactly. But Bloomberg was the first nanny.
Michael XC says I wonder how many people who care about the environment use liquid soap from plastic bottles instead of bars of soap.
That's an interesting thought. Man, I really want to be involved in this move, but I don't think that I can buy it here anymore. I missed the trade. It sucks. Because they're really, well, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about it, to be honest. Because they're putting some pressure on.
Lucas says, damn it, should have waited.
That right there at 23.5, that would be my exit if I was in that. I would be trying to get out of that. I might fade this.
Uzi Knesset says at Michael XC, you ever see environmentalist protests? They litter more in a single protest than the rest of us do our entire lives, lol.
Anytime you get a large group of people together, there's going to be a big mess. Unless somebody decides to clean it out afterwards. Okay, tweet. White House on lockdown.
Mason Chan
Airspace.
says at Lucas, no, I got out +1, was taking too long and got out. Said made me remember the numbers, so I didn't think there would be a lot of volume.
White House on lockdown. Airspace violation reported in Washington. Fighter jets have been scrambled. Law enforcement's tell NBC. Right. Now all of the squawks are reporting this.
Uzi Knesset says, I remember what the pipeline protesters left behind. That shit was horrible.
Yeah, the pipeline protests, like you're talking about, they had those camps there for months. And then after, the pipeline was done and they all left, it wasn't just like, there was a lot of trash left behind. No, like they left behind an environmental catastrophe that took a lot of money to fix. That, man, I tell you what, the pipeline protests, that was dumb. Not that like protesting something is a dumb idea or anything, but a protest like that is extremely unlikely to work. And it basically just attracted like how do I say, the elements that you don't necessarily want to be on your side in a political fight, I only, I always like try and get it back to trading, When you see these kind of movements on the left, like the pipeline protest or Occupy Wall Street, these come around every couple of years. At least in my life, they have. And from my understanding, looking at history, they are not necessarily something new. And you can just ignore them because they're just not effective. You're basically just getting kids that don't really understand what's going on get really engaged, and they tend to make foolish tactical decisions. I would like to fade this. They're still holding an okay bid at 23 though. It's interesting. This reminds me of yesterday at 18.5 there was a pretty big order, and everybody faded the big order, and it took forever for him to get filled. Are they doing the same thing? I'm sure this airspace violation, by the way, is not a huge deal, but I don't even think that the market is necessarily reacting to it. Although you do have maybe a short. Ace was looking for long, right?
Lucas says you saying they are fading those 240.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says nah, probably just some goofball in a homemade copter or something lol.
Right. This is the same thing that they did yesterday, was in front of the big order. They all took profits in front of the big order, and they couldn't
Ace
get
Trade
enough.
Says never got filled. It turned into a short, sitting on hands.
Okay. They never got enough extension or whatever to flip up and buy into it until much later in the day. I doubt that they would run into the same situation today unless this like reverses hard. But it's almost like somebody wants to be filled at 24 and somebody's determined to make sure that they're not going to get filled. Or another alternative is this guy that has the big order at 5. He's taking a profit
Uzi
or whatever.
Knesset says Lada absorption on the offer at 23/24 in ZB.
Something that I have seen is he really does want to get filled, and he has a lot more than 5,000 that he wants to take off. So he puts that there to kind of pull the market to it, but then as they come up to it, he's taking a lot of profits there. That could be one way of doing it. See, I am.
Lucas says I think it's the same guy selling those 9K at 235. We'll call him Bob.
Yeah. Bob. Okay. Well, it looks like Bob has more than 10,000. I think that Bob might have 15,000 at 23.5. And then the question is, if they ever do take 23.5 and they stick a good bid at it, does anything happen at 24? Do they pull a little bit at 24? Are there some people with orders there at 24 that...
Uzi Knesset says Bob's got a fat ass and he's trying to cap the market lol.
So, they flipped the level 2 and we had a pretty decent amount of order flow sell into 23 and then some clicks. So I'm seeing the stacking and pulling on the ask at 23.5. I'm a little weary about selling it at 23.5. So here's one thing I've noticed is how fast does it take for an iceberg to get filled? When it takes a really long time, I kind of feel like that means that they're patient and that it could maybe drop a little and come back up to it. Whereas these ones that are like...
Uzi Knesset says watch, you gonna have aggressive sellers try to capitalize on that absorption and the market will pull back a few ticks and then break the high grinning squinting face.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas these ones like the one that we saw early yesterday when there was 8K at the bottom, he got filled really fast. And then it almost immediately flipped. Okay, Capitol Police just gave the all clear on the hill, so it sounds like that the crisis is already abating. So I thought maybe I could sell 23. I think if I had put like a stop order there, I don't think it would have filled. And I'm still concerned about them pushing another high. Especially with the way that the E-mini is acting. Still seeing asks. Relatively decent amount of institutional activity in the 10-year as well today. By the way, now is a good time to say thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and hit that like button. I'm thinking if we can get 15, we had tons. We're doing really well. We're really close to 15. If we can get 15 likes before the end of the stream, that would really be amazing. They're going to come back to 22. Hey, I could still have my limit order at 22, and I could try and take an alligator. Look at the 30-year. So it's 4 ticks down, 5 ticks up. Also, the 5-year put a pretty good stack at 26. That one was an ask really far away. The 5-year actually come back there a little too quickly. was thinking about possibly buying into 22.5, but the seller pushing back there. Bid at 21.5. Well, that lockdown did not last very long, did it? Jim Dalton Trading. Good morning. Late yesterday, I posted that while we may not see liquidation, short-term inventory was dangerously long above the old high at the 31.28 level. That caution remains. See graphic below. Okay. So Jim Dalton sees 28. And look, there's a big old number close there. So if they break OVL. Should definitely pay attention to that one because Jim is a very widely followed trader.
Ace Trade says I love the trading terms, dangerously long or short.
Dangerously long, yeah. Well, I mean, but he's got a really good point, right? It seems to me that the bulls are chasing it for the wrong reasons, because yesterday, treasuries were going up, probably because people just need to buy treasuries. That seems to be part of the reason, at least. And, there does appear to be some central bank is committed to the inflation sort of a thing. And then the E-mini moving up, it kind of looks like it's just moving up because they want to move up. Okay, so there's still an iceberg there, but they shoved right through that. Look at the way that how adamant the seller is at keeping it offer. Okay. Stock market's record highs may put less pressure on Trump to strike a trade deal, says strategist at Yahoo. That kind of contradicts the stories that we were seeing this morning, right? The story that we were seeing this morning was the White House really wants to cut a deal because they want to get rid of the economic instability. So that was like the fifth or sixth try now at 22 to try and clear the offer, and the seller slams it back down immediately. Guess I probably should have taken that short that we were talking about at 23.5. It would have been worth at least a few. But I'm still, I kind of ignored it a bit because I just feel like the pressure is still up. Like it was way too easy for them to break that high there. And in fact, all of the deltas on this whole thing is still buying. Believe it or not.
Ace Trade says another short signal at 3,133.75, too close to open.
Okay, so they took 21 half. $21.5 was where I was seeing a lot of flashing bid, right?
Uzi Knesset says see how 17 holds in ZB. Thinking face.
You think there could maybe be a little bit more? Okay, well, I kind of saw that the pressure abated there after they cleared 21 half. But now it's unclear if my price is going to hold or not. Okay, so somebody held a good bid there.
Lucas says why 17 and not 15 to 14?
Okay, well, we finally got it filled today.
Ace Trade says that was a crap trade.
No good. It went up.
Uzi Knesset says 17 is RTH open. Heavy selling there should push it down a bit. Lucas says at ACE trades there will be plenty more.
I don't know. The 5-year. They might have to. In order to get to 17, I think they would have to fiddle around with it quite a bit here. Okay.
Ace Trade says at Lucas that is true. Lucas says at UZI Knesset OIC makes sense.
Well, I'm super tepid about this, but the 25 and a quarter did flip there in the 5-year.
Uzi Knesset says still bullish on the day though, so, barring any surprises, buyers will likely make attempts to catch it.
So there was quite a bit of back and forth there, 21 half when I got filled, and now it's kind of slowed down, and they're watching the 5-year again. Hmm. It's 13 sold and 11 bought at the 5-year.
Lucas says yes, I am bullish as well. I think if they break your levels we might see some interest action at 11 if it comes lower. As long as the move is not news related, of course.
Right. Okay. So they're definitely following the 5-year there. I'm going to click on the ask really far away.
Uzi Knesset says 14 to 15 is a nice ledge in the profile though, so if there's a push below 17, 14 to 15 may be where buyers try to catch her.
Well, I think with the price that I caught there, there is something to it, but it seems like a really slow area, so this might not be the best. If they hit into 22, then it'll be great, but at the moment, this doesn't look like the most amazing trade in the world. Trying to stay positive though. They are building up some bids slowly. Okay. Now the 5-year is trying to take 25 half. Number of buyers and sellers at 25 and a quarter was equal.
Gary Rich says, Seth, no disrespect, but do you talk yourself out of changing lanes while driving? Lol lol.
Talk yourself out of changing lanes? I'm just kind of trying, once I'm in something, I just try and explain everything that I'm thinking about it. If only so that in the future I can sit down and I can say, hey, remember, I was unsure
Lucas
about
says,
that
I am
trade.
noticing the two distribution areas between 11 and 24 for the upper one from 09 to lower on the second one. They shouldn't sell into 10 to maintain buy bias.
So I like that they're hitting into 22. They'll need to clear it, of course. Seems like it's still dependent on the 5-year, though, and that break in the 5-year could be temporary or false breakout. So now they're lowering at 21.5. Looks like we just lost our connection there temporarily. Looks like it was just related to OBS. So sorry about that. Can you still, you guys all still there?
Winstanzamom says moments before the trading bell rings. Happy trading, gentlemen. Hello, speculator Seth.
Good morning, Win. Now hold on a second. I had a link for you. Watching this. It's like really close. I'm thinking like maybe of just scratching it. Where was it? I hope I still have it. Ah, yes, I do still have it. It was on TikTok. I found this. Have you seen this, Win? Oh, come on, play it. Is he gonna play? Yeah, that's good, right? Huh? That is way too loud. I downloaded TikTok because my kids use it a lot, and I'm like, well, maybe I can make money on this. I'm not so sure that it seems like there's a lot of money on TikTok, but I'm not so sure that Seth can make money on TikTok. Oh, okay. So they were a little tepid there. Yeah. I'm seeing a little bit too much volume trading back.
Air Cages says, hello Seth. Ace Trades says ferrets being used in the TikTok trade. What has our country come to?
The TikTok trade. And hey, Air Cages, how's it going? By the way, I haven't even looked at the Bitcoin chart today. Oh, it's maybe fading back down a little bit. Kind of an inverse bowl. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. So this could totally continue, but one, we're getting like the E-mini volatility, so I hate that. First of all, and second of all, too much distribution here. So maybe if the E-mini really starts to puke. Okay, wait, where's my okay. So we didn't see that huge of a volume spike on the open. Seems like that the day traders really like that it's going down, though.
Air Cages says, did you close out a trade? Uzi
Yeah, I
Knesset says at
closed it.
ACE trades killed S. Astonished face with tongue. Winstanzamom says the world needs more ferrets. Lol.
There you go. Yeah, this is frustrating to watch because I really want to be involved, but this is just not good action for me. Like, what is our probability of knowing that if they're going to buy at 22 or sell at 22? It's completely dependent on what the ES does. And yeah, they're selling it right now, but they could just as easily turn back around and be at
Lucas
the top
says
of this
otters are
range in a
nice
second.
too.
So I think I did what had to be done. But I would sure like to, maybe if they gave me another one here, I can see a couple of orders, tinkering, thinking about it. We might also get, an e-mini trade. Like, we shall see here.
Winstanzamom says otters are cousins to the ferrets. We have several by the lake next to us. Little slinkies.
Oh man, here in Utah at the aquarium, they have a bunch of otters, and they are funny to watch. Okay, so now the E-mini is pulling it out. Okay, that click was on the ask. By the way, when it was clicking up and down, it's stacking and pulling at 21 every time that goes off. Well, 22 is seen back and forth a lot
Gary Rich
now.
says at Ace, do you trade the European session at all? Ace Trade says at UZI Knesset I know, right? Ace Trade says at Gary Rich I don't. What time does it open?
So now ES trying to push the high end of the range. They sure got there a lot pretty easily. For starters.
Uzi Knesset says why can your robot say mine and at ACE trades names when it's saying we're saying something but not when we tag each other? Lol.
Oh, does it? Wait, so when we did this one...
Ace Trade says at UZI Knesset I know, right? Lucas says they are making longs work really hard.
Yeah. Well, look, there's an iceberg at 22. We could maybe follow that one, but I'm not. I still want to wait. I still want to wait longer.
IQM says Obama was never truly progressive. He deported 1.2 million people during his first 3 years in office. Trump, by the way, has deported fewer than 800,000 while he has been president.
Okay, so here's a question for you, IQ. What is it about
Winstan's
the number...
mom says, did anyone catch the video of the Florida dog, Florida, of course, who locked himself in the car, went backwards in the cul-de-sac for an hour while the cops watched helplessly and the dog grinned?
I did not see that one. I have to go find that. No, so here's a question for you, IQ. What is it about deporting people that makes somebody conservative or liberal or progressive? Why is it that a progressive doesn't deport people? How is that fit in to the fundamental ideological leaning of progressives? That's my question. Are they gonna hit it at 21.5? The way that they've gone back and forth there all this time, and like the sellers and everything, kind of makes me think that the buyers are gonna win here and just blow them out again. I mean, that's the way it's been going lately, isn't it? I kind of want to watch that link again, but well, we'll do it this way. Do it this way. Distract myself while this is going. Eh? Is that not amusing? The question is, how do I make money off of this? That's the question. If you have any ideas how I make money off of this, I would really like to know. Because I'm certain there is a way. I'm certain there is a way. Man. I turned it down for you guys, but I still heard it full blast, and I'm like, that is loud. It was really bassy, too. The 30-year actually telling me I might
Ace
be able to
Trade
buy
says
it
at
there.
Winstanzamom morning. Winstanzamom says it's a Romy ferret, a masked sable. I am working on how to make money for my online friends who have channels and the ferrets who run the Holistic Ferret Forum. Michael XC says there was that cat crypto Ethereum thing before.
Crypto kitties. You know what? If Bitcoin ever bottoms here, maybe we'll get into crypto kitties. I really wanted to get into it, but it was like way too expensive. And also, the Ethereum network is still like backlogged. Like you can't get anything through. Well, so here's the problem. I'm seeing some things that are telling me to buy the treasuries. But it looks like that the bulls are winning
says
in
there are ways to
equities.
place advertising revenue on your channel. Good morning, Ace, Emperor of all who trade. Speculator Seth is the prince of all who trade, and we shall see about the others.
I don't know if I'm the prince. I'm probably more like the village idiot. the court jester. I think I'm here for entertainment. I don't know. So they did buy it up and all that, and I'd say it's pretty convincing. But they didn't break the range. They didn't see like a huge rush in long volume. I continue to see the treasuries telling me that they want to move up. The robots are probably really confused.
Lucas says Winston is good with words. Do you rap Winston?
And can you see, as they're selling it into 22, it looks like there's another iceberg underneath of it. But the 5-year is already giving me an overextension. Now, what's with that? Well, that tick right there kind of screws it all up. Now I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that might have been like a buy and take 2 ticks. But we're still in a distribution area, so I can't really say what it's going to do.
Winstanzamom says thanks, Lucas. No, I don't rap, and you certainly do not want me to sing. But I love music and follow several creative creators on YouTube, NTPs, who make music. Do you rap?
Oh, hold on.
Mason Chance says I am in at 22.
Oh. Did you see that? Well, 22.5 wouldn't at this point wouldn't necessarily be the worst place to buy it.
Lucas says no, I am not that good with words, lol.
I mean, the issue I'm having, I want to buy it, but my particular strategy is not necessarily telling me to buy it. I don't think that it would necessarily be wrong for me to take a long here, but it's not giving me a clear signal. There was overextension here in the 5-year. That can mean that they can push through it, or that there might be a few more upticks. Certainly, the balance between buyers and sellers in this area seems to indicate that the treasuries still want to buy.
Winstanzamom says a friend of mine is host Eric talking with famous people.
I checked out that
Check
channel
out
the
his
other day.
videos. Lucas, he has a fun channel where we talk young. It's always 420 for them, and they are creative, interesting people.
There they took 23. I don't think you can get filled on limit on this one and on this
Uzi Knesset says things are looking better for buyers.
Yeah.
Lucas says 10-year is not conducive to much gains if you go long range, it's really tight. Not looking to get more than 2 at best, and that's waiting 20 minutes for the trade to work out if it does.
Well, I mean, I like Mason's long at 22, right? So he probably got long when they were iceberging there. And I wanted to do that, but, you know, it was telling me that there's a little bit too much congestion. So now that we're up here, is there going to be, okay, so
Mason
there's
Chan
another
says
iceberg.
out +3.
There's another iceberg at 23.5. Oh, you already took it out, huh?
Uzi Knesset says some jerk said this earlier. Uzi Knesset says watch, you gonna have aggressive sellers try to capitalize on that absorption, and the market will pull back a few ticks and then break the high grinning squinting face. Lucas says lol, so true.
I'm still not sure if they're gonna break this high or not, though.
Uzi Knesset says who was that jerk?
Who was that jerk? I think his name was like I don't know. It was like some. It was like it had something to do with the gun. It was like Glock or something. Was his name Glock? I don't remember. I'm too lazy to go back on the backlog and look up his name.
Uzi Knesset says must be been that money machine guy. He's a pro.
If you're still listening to Money Machine,
Lucas
we're not.
Mom, I will. Are you in that channel as well?
We're just poking fun. Uzi has been.
Eric Cages says cats or dogs.
Uzi has been with us now, not necessarily from the beginning, but I'd have to say now for over a year. And man, he has some really good trades, and he's got a really good read on the CP. So when he was saying that, it was like, well, it's not a thing until you have the stats to prove it. Where that's why we're kind of laughing about it, because we're like, well, if anybody here in the channel has an edge, it's gonna be Uzi and Ace. Okay, they're hitting into 23.5 again. Man.
Eric Cages says cats or dogs.
You know what? I decided that I like dogs more.
Eric Cages says I'm more of a dog person myself.
Yeah, I think that cats are for people with attachment issues. You know, like if you're kind of an anxious person.
Uzi Knesset says except on days where you miss the morning's context because you were stuck at the store grinning squinting face. Lucas says a dog coin person?
A dog coin. Dodge. It's Doge. Doggy. I think that most people say it Doge, but I really think.
Winstanzamom says yes, Lucas, I spend a lot of time with the Jungian community.
Yeah.
I can fly my freak flag there, lol. If you look to the 2nd, 8th, and 11th house of your astrology chart, you may anticipate your fortunes.
Ooh. No, I think that most people pronounce it Doge, but I really think that the guy that posted it meant it to be doggy.
Winstanzamom says you can get free online natal charts if you know the time of your birth.
Oh.
My chart has been accurate so far.
Based on the time of your birth, huh? Down tick 23 iceberg. They might have enough distribution here to force it through that 24, but it's going to be a battle. Yeah, like that. I mean, look at the way that the E-mini is trading. There might be some conflicting trades going on here, like maybe somebody really needs to buy treasuries, but then the E-mini is buying,
Ace
and
Trade
so
says at
somebody else
Winstan's
is
mom, even a
shorting.
broken clock is correct twice a day. Glittering generalities are not hard to match. Lucas says yeah, you are right. I think it's Doge, right? Wasn't that coin the one Elon was talking about? By the way, what do you think about the Tesla truck?
We brought that up yesterday. You know what? I think the Tesla truck is I was watching stuff about the Tesla truck the other day, and I've figured out what it is with the Tesla truck. The Tesla truck is a meme that everybody's trying to jump on to try and boost their channel. That's what it is. So I was like, oh, there's lots of videos. It's giving me tons of videos about the Tesla truck. And then what do you know, Graham Stephan. Oh, I pre-ordered the Tesla truck. Okay, way to go. $100. That's a big deal. Thanks for telling the internet about it. But of course, he's going to get tons of views from it. You know he is, right? That's what it is. And maybe Elon intentionally made it look weird. Like, maybe their design was kind of lame. But
Lucas says I think it's ugly as fuck.
I think that they intentionally made something that would be controversial.
Winstan's mom says I know, Ace trades the Forer effect. It's just another way to consider new perspectives. Carl Jung wrote extensively on astrology, so it's important for me to study that to study him.
Well, you know,
Eric
hold on.
Cages says Elon is the CEO of Dogecoin. Gary Rich says at Ace European session is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I trade it from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. pissed.
Oh yeah, you could totally trade in the afternoon then. But you know what? He normally gets, his 8
Lucas
ticks.
says it's exactly how people from the 70s imagine the future, the one we laugh at now that we see those movies.
Right.
Winstan's mom says I bought my husband a Tesla lighter. It's super duper cool unless dropped and then it shocks him.
Well, it's not like there's not utility in the way that it's designed too, right? Because of that angle, they're able to have a cover for the truck that retracts. That's a big feature for a truck. That's a big change in a truck.
Ace Trade says that Gary Rich might have to look at it, considering my bad trades today. Winstan's mom says I am still waiting for my jetpack. Judy Jetson had hers by the time she was 16.
Yeah, but you know what? Not very. There are some jetpacks out there, but not very many people have jet. Not even the Mandalorian has a jetpack. All of his buddies have jetpacks, but he doesn't have one. So you're not alone in not having a jetpack. That's a lot of volume willing to hold 23 have. Man. I'm wondering if they ever do hold a strong bid at 23 half. I think they could trade
Ace
through
Trade
24
says
really
Gary
quickly.
Rich, but it would make it at 11 p.m. here. That is pretty late.
Yeah.
Gary Rich says at Ace I used to be a Forex trader and always traded Euro, London session and NY as well.
I think it would be interesting to trade the Asian sessions. In fact, let me put this out here. I think that it might actually be really beneficial to at least watch and trade on sim the Asian sessions. And here's why. Because China is a big country with a lot of people. And at some point, it may very well surpass. Well, I think it's pretty much inevitable that they're going to become the largest economy in the world, right? This doesn't necessarily mean that they're a better economy per se, but they're growing really big, and at some point it's going to be a really significant market. And if, let's just hope a trade deal works out and that the Chinese continue to open up their markets, that they allow foreign investors to invest in their treasuries. That would be the big changes. If foreign investors could directly buy their treasuries, then there would be significant trade at the Asian session Perhaps it could someday even become more significant than the US Open. And so I think that starting to watch it and get acquainted with it might not be a bad idea. That's like a really long-term trade, maybe like 5 years, but still. You know what I'm saying? Oops.
Uzi Knesset says I've been meaning to try trading the EU session for like 8 years lol. I just can't stay up that late anymore. Plus it puts my wife and I on opposite schedules disappointed face. Winstanza Mom says I've been to casinos in Asia. I would never dare to play against the big kids who think in math. Gary Rich says the Asian session very slow and good for starting, the liquidity is low. Lucas says what instrument during Asian session? Nikkei?
Yeah, the
Michael
Nikkei.
XC says the Chinese stock market halts after a 10% move.
Does it? Only 10%? I mean, they probably get 10% moves fairly frequently too, right? So, well, they didn't hit me. I don't know if I like that. This spike here that kind of made me unsure about things. They did push through. Now you still got this thing where when they push through, sometimes it's only 2 or 3 ticks and then they reverse.
Winstanza Mom says year of the dog. Sai should be year of the ferret. Do you know your Chinese sign?
The year of
Tigers
the
are every
ferret.
mother's dream, supposedly. Michael XC says that S what I heard on YouTube.
That's interesting. I think that they might trade through 24, but I don't know if the risk reward wise and everything it makes sense. I wish I was more willing to play the edges, but we got news in 8 minutes, so let's just kind of wait for that. Ooh, Kick Acoustics Diffusion
Ace
Cell.
Trade says be back later.
10% off all quadratic diffusers. Wait, and 15% off of the polyfusers. Hey. Or flexor fusers. I would maybe be interested in that. Wait, which one is... How much are they?
Winstanza Mom says asking your year is the polite Chinese equivalent of asking your personality type. MBTI reference. Asking your blood type in Japan is the same idea.
Well, you know what, though? Like, obviously, I don't think that there's anything to any of that. But don't underestimate the power of the mind, When people think that particular thing has meaning, they can turn it into
Gary
meaning in
Rich
their
says
life.
I'm year of the KO sorry rooster. Ace Trade says at Winstanza Mom since none of that is valid, maybe just talk to someone if you want to know more about them.
Yeah. Oh man, Ace, you know what? Whenever you post stuff like that on the Facebook groups, I don't always necessarily reply and everything, but I love reading that stuff. So you're just so direct, and you always have a way of saying it that's not like rude, but it's kind of like, twisting the knife. I love it.
Winstanza Mom says, oh, Ace, I adore you. Lol, the Forer effect is our tendency to highly rate the accuracy of descriptions of our personality that supposedly are tailored specifically to us.
Oh, is that real? I had not heard that was a thing. So you're saying that if I say, hey, based off of X, I can tell you this thing about you, and you tend to say, oh yeah, that is
not interesting. I would say that to my children when they went on dates.
So that's a pretty big iceberg there at 23. I don't know if they're going to fill it. I wonder how much is there at 23.5. But you're starting to get into 2 really big sides to this, I think.
Gary Rich says it's always good to trigger someone. Watch them crumble like a stale cookie in milk.
Well, in the Facebook groups, there's a lot of people that just aren't very experienced is all. So there's a lot of they think that something matters and it really doesn't. But we're doing our work. We're doing God's work down there. Teaching people the way of the no chart gang. Or at least of stats, because Ace does use a chart, but man, some of the things that people seem to think matter and that they take trades on are kind of like, okay. And it's always weird to me, like somebody will go in and they'll post a trade. Hey, I made this trade and it was this really simple, just and here was the setup. I'm like, okay, cool, but like.
Winstanzamam says heuristics mental shortcuts that ease the cognitive load of making a decision, employ using a rule of thumb, an educated guess, an intuitive judgment, a guesstimate, profiling, or common sense.
See, it's really heuristics is really an interesting thing in trading, right? Because I use a lot of heuristics, right? For instance, here's a heuristic. The less limit orders that you see at a price on the DOM, the easier it is to go through that price. It's a heuristic, but if you try and like trade completely off of that heuristic, it's not going to go well for you, is it? But when you go into the groups, you see a lot of heuristics. They say, here was my setup and you did it. And it was like, okay, that was like a great trade that one time, but how do I turn that into like a cohesive strategy? Doesn't necessarily follow. And the thought that I'm always having when I read those posts is like, why are you posting that? Like, you made one good trade, so what? I mean, now if you're trying to promote yourself, if you're like, I have I have this YouTube channel and I trade it live every day and you can come in and you can see how it works and you can talk to me
Gary
about
Rich
how the
says
trade.
when you poo-poo others' ways, karma has a bad way to slap the crap out of you. Trust me, ancient Chinese secret.
True. That might be true. Anyways, and you can come and ask me questions about it, and that's why I'm posting, is to say, hey, here's this more information. Then that makes sense. But if you're just some random person on Facebook and you say, here's a winning trade, I'm like, why do people do that? They need somebody to congratulate them, I guess. Maybe that's a valid reason. Okay, so they're polling now for the news. Just a little bit, but they're polling. Let's just really quickly here, we got 30 seconds, review what we're looking for. We're going to be doing CB consumer confidence, looking for a reading of 126.9 with the previous reading of 125.9. Richmond Manufacturing Index, looking for a reading of 6, and new home sales 708K. 708K is actually quite high compared to the past, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Ooh, big iceberg at 23. Big. Okay. So the news came through. There was a little bit of clicking around and now it's stuck. Okay, Richmond Manufacturing Index negative. Spot 1 versus an expected 6. So, not a terrible reading, but it's not a good reading. I don't know. That number is not necessarily always a big deal. Okay, consumer confidence, less than expected, 125 spot 5 versus an expected 126 spot 9 and a previous reading of 125 spot 9. So it was actually lower than the previous reading when we expected it to be higher than the previous reading. So negative. And new home sales 733K versus 708K. So a little bit better than expected. Okay, so this guy buying at 23 now has bought 11,000. Man, that is a lot.
Lucas says, damn Bob, chill dude, why are you long now?
I'm thinking about selling it. Let's see. It could be a buy all of the things situation.
Winstan's
But,
mom says the Tao of Pooh, not the Tao. The Tao of Pooh, ancient Christopher Robin's secret. Gary, do you feng shui? Believe in
yeah.
Kai? I do, but I have yet to harness the power. I need to harness Tesla E8 lattice.
Oh man, win with the memes, man. The way that the robot read that out was amazing. Hmm. 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 Not exactly how I wanted that one to go. I got filled. My fill there was a little toxic. Um,
Mason Chan says, do you guys ever trade S-Live 1 here as well?
I do
Gary
take.
Rich says social media has allowed many to become emotional hemophiliacs. To trade these MKTS, one has to be mentally tough and emotionally strong.
I do from time to time take e-mini trades. Um, I'm not nearly as good at it as I am the treasuries. Ace comes in and he gives us amazing trades on the E-mini, but it sounds like that the market, because of the consumer confidence number and everything like that, the market hasn't really
Ace Trade
cooperated with
says at
those
Mason
trades.
Chan, yes.
But he might, if he's still around, so he might still be taking one. So it's interesting. I am definitely getting like it should turn down, but my price is not holding.
Winstan's mom says, Rabbit's clever, said Pooh thoughtfully. Yes, said Piglet, Rabbit's clever, and he has brain. Yes, said Piglet, Rabbit has brain. There was a long silence, I suppose. Ace Trade says short signal 3136.50 not in. Gary Rich says yes, always live.
Always live. Yeah, well, definitely when I take them in the E-mini, I take them live. But I'll switch around. I'll take sim trades from time to time too, or I'll go through periods of time where I trade only sim. And
Winstan's mom
back.
says there was a long silence, I suppose, said Pooh, that's why he never understands anything. Benjamin Hoff, the Tao of Pooh.
You don't do amazing all the time. Hmm. Like that 23 is looking weak, but hardly anybody's bought into it yet. And when you look at like the cumulative delta, they're pretty long. So for there to have been that huge iceberg, where was it at? Oh, they're gonna bust me. They're gonna bust my balls here. No. That huge iceberg, and then they went through it. But sometimes you get this thing where they push through it, and then it comes back up, and then they hold it again. In the E-mini, they've come back a little bit since the news, but not too much. It kind of looks like they might still want to buy the E-mini. Okay, the 5 years in this range here. This might bust. I might have to get out of this. I think that trade was a little bit too aggressive for the location.
Winstan's mom says must resist the urge for Titanic puns. Daughter day traders superstitious?
No. You know what? I'm not superstitious, but I'll still do superstitious things.
Gary Rich says at Winstan's mom, no fung, no Tao. Only Japanese, I'm a Ronin.
One of my things is at the gym, you're not supposed to step over the bar. The rule is if you step over the bar, you have to go under the bar. Damn it. They shot through that way too easily. This was ill-advised. Should I just dump it? Notice that there's not a huge stack at 24 anymore either. And the E-mini is turning down again. A bit.
Gary Rich says, Seth, how many rabbits do you have? Do you take them to the gym for luck? Lol.
The only one. I keep telling my wife that when it dies, you need to take its foot. She's like, that's gross.
Winstanza mom says, no lord or master, and were you born under a wandering star? My family has a long history with Japan. The Japanese samurai are fascinating. Do you see a correlation to traders and the samurai?
Correlation to traders in the samurai? I don't know. I mean, samurais were kind of stoic, right? And I think that stoicism, it can be a good philosophy for traders. Well, I don't know. It does kind of look like the pressure is still up, but like they're stacking when they go off, or doesn't look to me like I have an edge in this location, because I really thought that they could just go at 22.5, given the spike that I had there and everything else like that. But it's kind of been
Winstanza
random.
mom says, I'll explain later when you upload today's live stream.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually, I mean, it does it itself, so it should come out like an hour after the stream ends.
IQ says, Uzi you long ZB?
Mm-hmm. No, why do I not have it like that? There we go. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says, not at the moment, no. Mason Chan says, I am long 265 on ZF.
Oh, that's interesting that you take it in ZF and at the high.
Lucas says, don't be long just yet.
You don't think so?
Uzi Knesset says, I had kind of an oopsie of a morning today, lol. Gary Rich says, the original rice traders used candlesticks back then. Candlesticks goes way way back. Steve Nissen was the first to translate them to American.
Well, the way that it's sticking right now, it may actually be giving us an entry signal. Look at the E-mini. Is this another day of buy all the things? Thick here. Hmm.
Winstanza mom says, impressive resume. Steve Nissen. I will look him up later. Gary Rich.
That name sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. By the way, we're coming up. I mean, usually try to stop around 8:30. Make sure you hit that like button. We're trying to get 15 today. Normally we get around 10 to 12. If we could get 15, that's kind of our long-term goal is 15 likes before stream ends. So if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and click that right now. We'll see if we ever get filled on this trade. E-mini is kind of doing like a dead cat bounce sort of a thing. There we go. We got 10.
Winstanza Mom says 24 watching now. Please hit like and you will need a catchy title for today.
Right? Okay, they filled me. It was a toxic fill. The 5-year trying to push back up at 26 and a quarter. Nobody hitting 26. Okay. And holding 400 at 26 and a quarter. But the 5-year and the 30-year not really reacting to it. The 30-year has gotten really quiet, by the way.
IQ says the 60 meters ZB at top of profile.
There's been a lot of volume in the 5-year at 26.5, by the way. A lot of volume around here just in general. But 23 was like, for this past 15-minute period at least, the most volume.
Gary Rich says I know something isn't right when I can't get filled on several of my option selling stuff. It's ominous to me.
That's interesting. How long does it normally take you to get a fill on something like that? They gonna buy it through at 26.5 now? Okay. So now is the E-mini gonna start buying into 23.5 again?
Uzi Knesset says I want to try
E-mini?
trading options.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't trade options. I would, quant or use hedge with options, but I would maybe a little bit of speculating, but I would be a little wary about quote unquote trading them. You know what I mean? I know that that's not what you meant, but
Uzi Knesset says yeah, I was thinking for hedging purposes.
yeah, I think if you have a portfolio that's got like 5 stocks.
Gary Rich says sometimes instantly, in usually selling 2 to 3 months out and 20% plus OTM.
You've got 5 stocks and you've got enough of them to make buying an option to hedge yourself worth it. I think it's a great idea. Okay, so that order at 22 is moving up and down. Okay, well now we're holding an okay bid at 23, so no orders hitting 23.5 yet though. That's curious.
Uzi Knesset says our portfolio is up to a dozen stocks. Doing good today, smiley face.
Ooh. I think so I like to say 5 just because I think you should keep up on the
Mason
companies,
Chan says scratched my trade.
Now if you're doing it full time, I guess you could do 12, but
Winstanza Mom says the economic calendar on Tuesday features U.S. October data on advanced trade in goods, which showed the trade deficit fell 6% to $66.5 billion.
Isn't that hold on. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Winstanza Mom says separate readings
Forgot
on
about
November
that.
consumer confidence and October new home sales are due at 10 a.m. Eastern. Federal Reserve Board Governor
that's
Lael
what we
Brainerd
just
is
had.
scheduled to speak at 1 p.m.
That's what we just
Eastern.
had. So now I guess we kind of look forward to tomorrow's news like the GDP and personal income and everything. But they do have somebody speaking, right? Brainerd speaks. due to speak about Federal Reserve's framework, a review of monetary policy strategy, tools, and communication at the New York Association for Business Economics award ceremony in New York. Audience questions expected. That's at 11. Okay. The level 2 hasn't flipped here, but they have hit into 23.5 at least. This kind of is looking a lot like a consolidation higher sort of a pattern.
Winstanzamam says top Chinese and U.S. negotiators agreed on talks toward a preliminary Phase 1 deal, China's Commerce Ministry said Tuesday. The ministry said Vice Premier Liu He.
Yes. We've been talking about that one too.
Winstanzamam says the country's top negotiator spoke by phone with U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin.
So again, for those of you that missed it at the very beginning, it appears that the administration wants to resolve some of the economic instability from the trade war, and is much more interested in trying to get a deal than they were perhaps a week ago. The Chinese everybody's sounding really positive, but it's unclear if they've really actually come closer together, or if China is willing to make any of the concessions that would be necessary to have a Phase 1 deal. So, but that is probably irrelevant for the time being. Okay, so 4,000 right into 23.5 all at once. Kind of how I thought that might go. It might happen again at 24. But anyways, maybe it falls apart later, but for the time being, especially if the administration is positive on it, you've got to be positive on it. And so today, I think the risks really changed. Wow, he's stacking at 23.5 now, like hardcore. The risks now are that a good headline comes out and pushes the E-mini up. But for us in treasuries, it maybe doesn't necessarily matter, right? Like, it seems to me like the treasuries overall want to go up regardless of what ES is doing. It's like if ES had a big tumble, then we could see a lot of treasury buying. And if ES continues to bubble up, then we could continue to bubble up. The only, caveat here is that there's a lot of liquidity above us. This is going to be hard to plow through. Well, they plowed through the 4,000 at 23.5. This is going to offer again. I'd really like to see them plow through the 24, though.
Lucas says there's some little divergence between bonds and notes as well. It's minor, but it's there.
Yeah, well, it seems like the notes have been going up a little bit more. We've been getting overall steepening. Okay, where's these clicks at? 24. Ooh, okay, strong stack on the uptick. I'll be curious. It'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of a stop run, because there's a lot of what is the word? Down in this area, that was a lot of volume. I mean, look at this, 150,000 through this area. 150,000 contracts. If we move too far away from it, will they start to do crazy things? But we should be careful, because if we see them buying into 24 or 24.5
Gary
really
Rich says tomorrow beige book and lots of data released.
And I don't see any kind of stop run, and I see more distribution, and that this stack could just be somebody that wants to get filled at 24.5. It's a strong stack, and it's not hit causing orders to trigger at 24. Hmm. So that on that stack, some pulled off at 25. Yeah, 25, 25. There's an iceberg at 26 and 3/4 and 5-year. Still some orders coming in. Tick up. Good stack on the uptick. It flips pretty quick. So now they are all lined, at least the 5 and the 10 are all lined up for a really spectacular
Winstanzamom
push
says,
higher.
pulled off at 25. Today is 25. Look for the hour. Lol.
Oh, you're right. Well, no, today's the 26th. I don't know what you mean. Today's the 26th. Well, 700. Do they need the 30-year to tick up to 25, 24, 25? Or maybe they need the E-mini to do something. Or maybe they just need me to get out of this position and then they'll go. Like usual.
Lucas says, Mr. Maquette Maker helping you out there with those 4K at 235.
Right? Well, I kind of thought when they started coming up there that they would try and push it.
Winstanzamom says, it means that I rarely know the date unless I look at my little date icon on my Chrome, and it means your date for today is wrong.
It is wrong. Okay, let me go fix it. I must have screwed it up. It's the 26th. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says, remember man, the later in the session it gets, the more and more you're gonna need to rely on luck.
Yeah, it is late in the session. I really think, when I took this, I was expecting that if they took through 23.5 that they might start stacking really hard. Okay? So that's why I'm saying if I don't see stops up here on this, then I might want to get out. Because
Lucas says, up finger.
Yeah, it seems like that these sellers don't want to pull out of the way. Okay, so a little bit of the 23.5 pulled and a couple of orders went into it. And now it's stacking
Uzi
back up a
Knesset
little
says,
bit.
this looks like one of those, it looks like it's gonna buy but it's really just gonna sit here for 5 hours, days lol.
Right? No, I think these guys actually want the fill. No? Okay, so they sold 23.5. It only took about 3,000 to actually clear it. But it didn't hold, and now they're stacking another 2,000 on it.
Lucas says also, if you are down or flat when it's late, you are risking losing money or losing more and not being able to make it back.
Yep.
Winstanzamom says, has anyone here read the book, Flatland? I wonder how they would film day traders using candlestick and bar charts in Flatland for a movie?
Just remember, 10:30 is not that late for treasuries.
Uzi Knesset says, yep, that too.
Once you get after 9:30, then it's like, probably don't want to take any more trades. And we are kind of getting into this time period where things tend to be really slow anyways. There was a 5K bid at 23.5. So if they tick back up, there could be a level break. This we've got to, just in case something crazy happens. It seems like a pretty good order to try and hold things for us. Hmm. So where was it at? 23.5. You've got about almost 20,000 contracts went through there. I mean, if we're going sticking with the theory that we had before, that these guys at 24 really want to be filled, it might have been, well, we don't have enough people off sites yet, so tick down, get 5,000 people to sell it, then we can tick up again, and then they might start stopping out into 24. Alternatively, they might have been trying to force it up through 24 and may have just given up.
Mason Chan says really loving the stream, done for the day. GL to all.
Hey, thank you, Mason. It sounds like you did really good, so
Lucas
thanks for
says that's
stopping
why
by
I am
and sharing
adhering to
with
the
us.
rule. If I am not able to make money during first two or I am not looking to trade anymore. It means I am not in the zone.
Well, I don't know. It's still giving me this like.
Lucas says no way I am finding better opportunities later in the day when I wasn't able to find those earlier.
Well, I always say like your opportunity after 9:30 is a lot worse. After 11:30 rather, Eastern time, because European session close. Right. Okay, so they take a bid again, 23.5. There's 3,000 on the offer. Because of the way that it's done this, if they do take it through again at 24, it's a slightly higher probability of it being spectacular again. Now, as they did that, the E-mini is starting to look like they might turn down. I would say the numbers that we got were slightly risk off in terms of expectations. I don't think they were disaster numbers or anything. Okay, so there it is at 24. Whew. They squeezed that volume through there fast. 10,000. Yeah, you don't see 10,000 trade that quickly very often, folks. Whew. Were there a lot of big... Okay, there was a 22 lot, 1,000 lot, 1,056 lot. So a couple of big guys bought into that even. And look at what that did to the cumulative delta. That is crazy. But like I said, absorption there, right? Now let's see if they hit it again at what they're going to do at 24.5, because now there's a stack at 24.5. It's like he just keeps putting it out there and putting it out there. Okay, the 5-year has an iceberg at 27. The E-mini is still selling just a tad.
Lucas says open. Lucas says I just got an email from my broker telling me I should immediately close my positions before tomorrow due to rollover dates. Like I don't even have a position.
Oh, really? That's weird. And the rollover, I mean, first call will be Monday, right? I mean, you should close your positions before the end of tomorrow, I guess. Sure. I guess that some people might forget that there's a weekend coming, and that's why they have to send that out. can never be too safe. Actually, you can, but...
Winstanza Mom says Lucas flow state smart positive psychology.
So we had traded 24 before, right? No, was that a new high for the day? I think it was. It's a new high for the day, but like, look, unfinished. Unfinished. Five-year buying into that still. Will it ever go? I'm going to move this down here so I can see, because probably our robot is going to die here in a bit. Parker Pettit, William Taylor charged with conspiracy and fraud. China prices 3-year dollar bond at Treasury plus 35 basis points, 5-year at T plus 40 basis points, and 10-year at T plus 50 basis points. Don't know what that means. Okay, another hit there. 12,000 went through. It still hasn't cleared. And tell you what, if I was a bear in the equities, I think, well, you never know about where the bulls are and everything like that, but this looks like a really good vulnerable situation, because if the E-mini was able to push down here, you've got this huge spike in the overnight, so you have a good pattern technically for them to turn around. And then on the Treasury side, if there was some sort of a risk off event that caused Treasury buying here, then you have a real recipe for it to just like completely explode. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I at this point, I'm not sure if they're ever even going to clear this 24. Okay. Some more stacking and pulling on the bid at 23.5.
Popularity Matters says when I hired a positive psychologist a few years ago to help me do work I hated. She taught me techniques to gamify the work in different ways.
27, almost. Oh, they got through it for a second, but it's got slammed back. And the E-mini is going down. They sell the E-mini and they buy the 5-year. But the E-mini's not. Just a few ticks. Like that 13.5 area.
Lucas says, should we be rolling over?
Not necessarily. So you definitely don't want to hold something into the weekend. But I don't think last call is until the first day of the month, right? So, and because there's like GDP news tomorrow, I think you might get an all at once roll where people trade the December contract until
Lucas says I think this week is rollover.
it
Lol.
is. It is rollover this week. You're right. But I'm just saying you're okay to trade this contract until tomorrow if you want. Suppose that this could be some exiting, huh?
Gary Rich says Ari Kiev has good audiobooks and videos on YouTube for trader psychology.
Okay. I don't know. The thing is I mean, look at this. It's thick. The December contract is thick. There's a lot of volume going through it. You don't necessarily have to roll over yet.
Lucas says I get it now. That's why they were freaking out at my broker, since markets are closed on Thursday.
Yes, exactly. Normally you would have until Friday. And they don't want anybody to get caught not realizing that it's Thanksgiving. Hmm.
Lucas says they specifically want me to stop trading this contract.
Yeah. But again, here.
Ekareo says I wasn't aware that gold had a micro also. How long has it been around? Gary Rich says did you guys check that box under speculator so you don't get these first, second notices etc. Greg Orlovsky says hi Lucas day trade the contract that has the volume right now it is the December.
Yep. Where is it? It's not settlement procedures. Delivery procedure. Man.
Lucas says yeah but guy at my broker says stop trading it like WTF.
So you're not going to get. I'm pretty. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you can't get called until Monday. Called meaning that you have to deliver a ton of treasuries to them. Hmm. Well, they may as of yet push through this, but it's getting to the time where I have to cut and run.
Greg Orlovsky says this whole market is out of time today, smiley face. Gary Rich says at Lucas it's probably just a massive email notice to all. Unless you have the old contract still on.
Yeah, it is probably an email notice to everybody, but...
Gary Rich says it's so thin. I mean thin.
The whole thing about rolling contracts over is that you don't have to roll until the first day of the month. But we typically have been rolling over faster because the volume has moved over faster. And you want to be where the volume is.
Lucas says nah, it's not an auto message, I am being told to stop trading deck contract. Ace Trade says I'm back, anyone make any money?
I made a tick. I think it was a tick since you've been gone. I don't know if I'm ever going to get filled at 24. Well, darn. Today's Tuesday. Well, they sure sold that quick, but I mean, look at it. It's still just kind of sitting there all lazy. Love to have Mike Pompeo, Rick Perry, Mick Mulvaney, and many others testify about the phony impeachment hoax. It is a Democrat scam that is going nowhere, but future presidents should in no way be compromised. What has happened to me should never happen to another president. I agree. You can't just come in and say, oh, well, we're doing an investigation, not have any kind of vote on it, and then be able to see absolutely everything that you want within the administration. That completely defeats separation of powers. But there are situations where Congress should be able to subpoena them. The question is, what does this qualify? At the moment, I don't think that they've met that bar. Oh, sorry, I saw there was a couple of comments I missed them. Hi, Lucas, it's time to call them and check any positions. Did you guys get any snow? Oh, we got so much snow, but not as much as it did down south. But it snowed. It was a pretty big storm, wasn't it? You bet it's gone by 4. We'll see. Okay, there's not as much snack there at 24 this time. How has scalping been going recently? Seth, Profit Factor, etc. How far are you from driving an income from trading? Mike Soliber's, he makes way too much money jinking the computers over at Morgan Stanley. Dean Witter McConkey. Yeah. Well, so I don't think that it's going to be replacing my income anytime soon. In fact, I don't know if that'll ever be the case, just because that'd be a lot of stress. But we did pretty great last week. Profit factor's not quite what I want, though. What's very sad is all these hoaxes just cause more distrust and faith in our systems. Yeah. Something that really confuses me is Democrats are always going on about how, the Russians undermined our elections and everything. And I think that what the Democrats have been doing, coming off of it, has been way more destructive than anything that the Russians ever did. Like, stop talking about it. You're just magnifying. You're basically doing the Russians' propaganda job for them. And especially like this super like triggered focus on it, Well, I don't like
Greg
1902
Orlovsky
on
says,
me.
"Hi Lucas, then it's time to call them and check any positions."
Let's get
Lucas
this.
says,
block sell.
Damn. Damn. Waited too long. Should have gotten out with the initial iceberg. Oh well. The E-mini is going, making a run for highs again. Is that why they sold it? Why they sold the treasuries? Now they're going to fight at 23, huh? Well, that's not good for us. So I think we got to end it. Not, well, if you say so. Why do you enter near the point of control for your trade? I don't really care if it's at the point of control or not. I mean, so keep in mind that when I took that trade, it definitely was not the point of control. That was like 20,000 contracts ago. But I don't necessarily care. I mean, I keep it in mind. Obviously, within this range, would you rather get long at 22? Sure. It's funny, we had a long at what? 21.5, was it? Yeah, we had a long at 21.5. And we only took one from it. I think, though, that was when we were like, well, where was it? When did we take that? Maybe we should have held that one for longer. That was at 722, so that was actually in here. We only took one. We could have held it, I guess. It was a good trade. Now the second one, when we bought it 23, this one I think it was. Was it this one? No, it was further out. It was here. That one was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Oh no, wait, that one. No, wait, what? Oh, the time, sorry. So that one was the one that we just took off. So we held it through that. But what was the one where we? Oh, 802. Yeah, this one right here. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. But we're just trading within a range. The thing was there is, I remember I expected that they would be hard for them to get through there. But I mean, the volume that was going through there in 12 and it never cleared and everything, I really thought they were going to clear it. And then I could see and I could take it off. Or at least they were going to give me another fill opportunity, and they never did. And then they pushed me out. Now that they've pushed me out, they might go back up again. Might do. We'll see. I think Xeon is around $100,000 even better, right? Because I bet you were wishing you were long in something with a $50,000 balance. I don't know. I mean, look, if they want us to go to December, if they want you to go to December, then you can go to December, right? I suppose that part of the reason I've had such a hard time is because it's rollover week, huh? Yeah, let's change it. I'm gonna have to do some stuff here. You get to look at my beautiful face while I fix it. Dad, fun on Thanksgiving. Really want to freak someone out. Add 2 extra turkey legs to the turkey when it's in the oven. What? Oh man, have you seen the turkeys that are like, like they look like the alien from Aliens or things like that? Okay. March. There's not as much volume in March. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's not like it's bad. So I suppose you could do it, but there's not really a spread between them either. I don't know why they want you out. It doesn't allow trading near the first notice date. It's not near, whatever. First notice is Monday, right? Unless something's changed. It does change from time to time. I had this pulled over. Is there anything on this page about first notice? Treasury futures lead month designations are determined by the CME group according to the first notice date of the futures contract. These dates are all detailed in the Treasury calendar tab. The first notice date is generally 1 business day prior to the beginning of the delivery month. For example, on trade date August 31st, the December 2015 quarterly futures will become lead month. So, if we come back here and go markets, interest rates, it says that there's a calendar somewhere. Oh, here it is. Product code December. First notice 29th of November. Friday. So, tomorrow is the day where you have to roll it over. Friday is the day where it does the thing. So 25 was I? Where did I get one from? I'm confused. Oh, because I switched it over. That's why. We're over a little bit. Well, whatever. So we lost a tick again today, but it's not a big deal. I wish we had taken the profit there, but that's okay. Did you make money today? No. I lost I already posted you the link November 29th. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. You have to roll the night before for treasuries. Right. Which would be tomorrow, right? So I don't know why they're giving him that email. Like, at the same time, I don't know why everybody's trading the old contract, but obviously somebody is still stuck. Well, if we all move, maybe somebody's trying to do something sketchy. You know, like maybe somebody is stuck in a position and they're trying to squeeze him out. That could happen. I mean, because there was a lot of activity in that contract, isn't it? I guess maybe some of the stuff that we were seeing was really like settlement behavior, and that might have thrown off my read a little bit. But you know, it's fine. Oh, that's not what we want. Oh, why does it not show that on this one? Oh, because I switched it. Hold on a second. Why would this one not be like that? And what about this one? Yeah, that should be like that too. These other instruments should be on demo, even if I'm not gonna touch it. Okay, so now I can switch them. The F, March. And then what about the equities? I guess the equities, it doesn't necessarily matter, does it? The equities is always after the Treasury one, though. I can just come in here to database management and check. See, doesn't say anything needs to be rolled over yet. It's funny. I wouldn't trade it tomorrow. The FCM can have us liquidate at any point tomorrow. The volume is only slightly lower. So trading in March is just fine at this time. Well, so he is right about that. Like if you have a winner on or something and you think that it's going to continue to go up, then by all means hold it. But at this point, it's not. I don't think that it's really going to be a huge disadvantage to you to move over. Yeah. But I think that it just means, you know, you take your profit and then your next trade you be on the other side. At the same time, I don't know if there's a whole lot of opportunity for us anymore. Now that somebody's decided to kick it back down. It's a little disappointing to me. I'm calculating in my head what the commissions on all this is. It's not too bad, but it's more than I would have liked to have taken. It comes out probably to an extra tick. It's probably down 3 ticks this month. Clicky, clicky. Well, I rolled everything over, so I'll trade that tomorrow, I guess. Even though the volume's over there, whatever. There's something fishy, though, about that the volume is still in the old contract, isn't there? I guess part of it is just because there's the holiday, but you're going to get somebody stuck in a position that doesn't want to be. Maybe they all got out. Maybe they all got out at that top. Okay, well, tell you what, if you haven't hit that like button, hit like. I appreciate it because, you know, I lost a tick today. We're gonna need those likes to make it up. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't even. You know what? You guys could hit like 100 likes every day, and I don't think it would even make up for 15 ticks, or for one tick. The $15 for one tick. What should we call today? I'm gonna call this one for future prosperity. Thick icebergs going into rollover. So that in the future, we're looking for something like that. Trading is like that, yeah. I'm just, the thing is we had a really good week last week. And then this week, it's just frustrated me, There's been some good moves, and I've missed them. And then the ones that I do catch are, like, really frustrating. And, they're the kinds where, well, like, for instance, this one. Okay, this one, it held on for a second, but it totally went against me, and I never really got favorable ticks. This one, I did get one MFE. I could have held it for a lot more and been done and been happy. And then this one, I got 2 ticks, but I just wasn't able to get out of it. I could have marketed out at +1, but I really thought they were going to go, hey, look, we hit our goal. 15 likes. Thank you guys so much. That's great. So maybe next week in December, we can try and get 20. 20 would be hard because normally we get to about, well, actually, I think we could do it. Because peak concurrent viewers is about 24. But not all of, over the course of the whole thing, we usually get about 86 to 100 a day. So we could potentially do 20. What does a one-legged turkey say? Wobble. How have I never heard that before? Ferrets are fun, funny, and interesting. They laugh, play, form social bonds, solve problems, and are smart. As 2-year-olds, they sleep 18 hours a day. Okay, well, you know what? It's 9:04. Time for me to go. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know about Friday. I mean, listen, if you guys want to chat on Friday, I don't think it'll be good trading, but we could get on and do something if you want. Let me know in the comments of the video. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime,